Welcome to our 8th grade Chumash gallery, which is a culminating exhibit of all the ideas and skills that our 8th grade learned this year with Mrs. Rosenbaum as they were learning Sefer Dvarim. We have two students here, Abby Aberman and Amitai Kakon, who are going to give us a tour of this little gallery.
Okay, so first, this poster shows the three main ideas of 8th grade Chumash. The first one is that Torah shebichtav, the Torah sheba'al peh, mishilmot, et zo et zo. So basically it's saying that Torah sheba'al peh and the Torah shebichtav fit together, and it really is one thing, not two separate things. The second one is that Torah madricha kol Yehudi b'chol dor. So Torah is the guide to life for every Jew.
And the third thing is L'chol Yehudi yesh kol miyuchad b'sicha al haTorah. So every person has a special voice and a special thing to say whenever talking about the Torah or anything with the Torah. So if we keep on going over here,
We'll see our 8th grade Chumash reflections. So all these are reflections on how we felt about 8th grade Chumash and what we really thought was meaningful and what we will continue to keep with us even after 8th grade.
This will stay with you.
So
Can you
we
give
can
me
see
an
here as an example, we have a quote from Noam Braun, how when something really bad happens, I feel Hashem's love more because I know that that thing can help me become the best version of me. So that really helps show how we reflected in a positive way after the end of
Beautiful
the year.
ideas and beautiful display. Okay. Okay.
Over here, we have Pinat Chidon. So this is the corner for Chidon. And we can see that Chidon works
So
really hard.
certain students, like, instead of being in the regular class, were in Chidon Tanakh class, and this is some of the ideas that they chose to show from the Chumash that they learned. Just a second, can you wait outside? We're in the middle of filming, and I'll call you when we're ready. Okay? Thank you. Okay, let's go on because our time is short. The next display.
Okay, so our next display.
Close the door, please.
The next display is Brachot HaShevet. So these are all the different shvatim that we found during our project, and we made flags
The
to
brachot that
represent
Moshe gave the different shvatim, and you made flags.
We made flags to represent the different shvatim.
So here you can see as an example that Alex took is you have a quote
No, in here.
here.
Yeah.
So you can see here is an example that doesn't see whose name this is.
Okay.
So somebody brought in. So this is an example for
Shevet.
Shevet Gad, which is that Umishpatav im Yisrael is the quote that they took. So then they showed the different ways and like the directions that you would go, and they even took a Rashi quote and the line which shows that like God is really strong.
Really nice.
And then here you have our brachot shelanu, which are our personal ideas that we took from Chumash and our personal, like the way that we personally connect to it.
An example of this, Alex showed that all these things really connect her. She took a quote from the Torah to explain it. She wrote, "Hinei matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad." So this quote really explains her. She says that a big part of her is family and friends and sports and music and all these different things that really make up Alex.
Beautiful. Take a look. דאגה בלב איש, ישועתך קיוויתי השם. Meaningful psukim that spoke to the children. Okay. We have to really.
Our next project is showing that the different mitzvot of Devarim can really be displayed and used and created by all these different parts of ourselves, all the different parts of our body. For example, Ahavat Hashem is by the heart because we really have to love Hashem, and that's one of the mitzvot in Devarim.
And the hand
The hand
represents
represents
the actions, right?
right, the actions, anything that we have to physically do.
Nice. Even.
So here we see that by Joey and Judah they made a project about learning like learners, which is learning like a true like Torah, like a true Jew that knows how to learn Torah. And here is an example. You can see that they say that that real learners ask clarifying questions to see that they're learning it the right way, and they read it out loud because sometimes when you're reading it in your head, sometimes you can mess things up. So you want to read it out loud just to make sure that you're saying it right. And then here you also have a map, a Parshan map, of all the Parshanim around the world in different time periods, and you can see where they came from and what time periods. Also, there's a time key.
Let's go to this one.
So this is our BQ portfolios. We have different.
What is the cute portfolio? That's
BQ is a tool to help us study independently.
you're talking about Sefaria?
Yes. Sefaria is a website that gives us tools to break up different prakim, and so we can learn it independently and on our own, even when we're not in class. And we're supposed to take 3 of our favorite BQs and put them in a portfolio, put a post-it on it, and write what it showed to us.
Okay, can you give an example?
Sure, so here is an example by Laura. You can see that on her front page, she wrote all the things that Sefer Dvarim means to her. And then if you open it up, so for this one, Dvarim Perek Lamed Aleph, Laura wrote that this BQ shows how she can organize and break down the Perek by categories, which is a really helpful skill when learning Torah.
So over here, we see that mitzvot develop over time, and these are the different mitzvot of Dvarim that are old, but we still keep them today.
Can you give an example?
So here we can see that the mitzvah of learning Torah, how it progressed over time. So you have that first at the Avot, they were the first people to learn Torah, and then it's Man Chanukah. You have the Romans told them, the Greek told them that you can't learn Torah, but they did anyway. And then even all the way to the 1970s, they kept on telling them you can't learn Torah, you can't be doing things like that,
it's
but they
in
still
Russia?
did. Yeah, so an example is like Anatoly Sharansky when they took him to jail. And then you have today at 2018 when you have these huge yeshivot in Israel and all over the world when you can learn Torah freely.
The timeline of Kiyum Mitzvot. What do we have here?
So these are our personal Moshe speeches. So as you know, at the end of Sefer Dvarim Sefer Dvarim is Moshe's final speech to Bnei Israel before he dies and before they enter Israel. So this is what we would personally say if we were Moshe and we were saying the speech to Bnei Israel.
You want to give me an example?
An example. This is one I wrote. I'm going to take a quote. אנחנו היינו ביחד כבר הרבה זמן, אבל זה הזמן שלכם ללכת לארץ ישראל. So this shows that Moshe is really saying, even though I'm not going into Israel with you, you will be going into Israel, the land that Hashem promised you with Hashem, and I will be in your hearts.
Excellent. What do we have here? The Shema. I know you spent a lot of time learning Kriyat Shema. Anybody wants to say something about it?
We spent a lot of time learning Kriyat Shema, and using Sefaria, we were able to break up the psukim and color code it to show what we really learned, and all of the ways that Shema can connect us today.
For example?
An example here, as you can see in Yogi's Shema Siddur, he took the paragraph of Shema and then he highlighted different places. Like an example, B'chol levavecha, when you would read it as just a Bekiyut or normally, you would see that it would say with all of your hearts. But actually, he took a Rashi that says it's not with all of your hearts, is that your heart shouldn't be split about if you love Hashem or not, is that you should love Him wholeheartedly.
Beautiful. What do we have here? Torah Shebaal Peh.
This is a puzzle about Torah Shebaal Peh, which shows that like Torah Shebaal Peh, how it all fits together and all the mitzvot fit together. So you can see if we just take this piece and we take it off, that you just have like half of tefillin, half of a face, but then you fit it together and it shows
So you need
how all
both-
the mitzvot fit together.
Both Torah Shebichtav and Torah Shebaal Peh to get
Yeah.
a complete understanding of the mitzvot. Okay, and last, let's take a look at the very last exhibit.
Lastly, these are our Parshan biographies. So we learned that each one of us can be a Parshan and is a Parshan by just learning Torah simply. And we each made a biography about ourselves to show what we like to learn and when we were born and the basics of what a biography would look like to show that we can be Parshanim too.
Can you bring your own?
Yeah, so here in my biography, you can see how I wrote where I was born. I was born here in Skokie, and my family's background and how my mom was Bala Teshuva and her background. And then I also explained the way that I like to learn Torah on my own and the kind of skills that I use. And then I also showed the way that I would like to progress in the future as a Torah ambassador.
Thank you very much, Abby and Amitai, for giving us a tour of this beautiful museum, gallery of Chumash, and I hope you learned a lot this year in Sefer Dvarim. Here we have one class visiting. Classes are coming to our Torah Chumash gallery all day today to see what you learn.
And like loving Hashem with all your heart and not to be divided about
Kol hakavod to 8th grade, class of 2018, Tafshin Ayin Chet, and their skilled and amazing Torah teacher, Mrs. Aliza Rosenbaum. Thank you, guys.